The purpose of this hearing is to examine the threats to free and fair elections in Honduras under the Xiomara Castro government and to highlight how the United States can ensure that the will of the Honduran people is honored and respected on November 30th. I now recognize myself for an opening statement. A statement that I'm going to pronounce in English and in Spanish. I know that this hearing is being broadcast to Honduras, so I want to give the benefit of the Hondurans to understand what I'm going to say in English, also in Spanish. On November 30th, Honduras will not just pick a new president, it will choose its political destiny for the next century. It is the responsibility of the United States government and this committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee of the United States Congress, to ensure that in Honduras, freedom and democracy will prevail. 4 years ago, the people of Honduras elected a socialist president called Xiomara Castro. Madam Castro has been a loyal follower, in her own words, of Fidel Castro in Cuba and Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. Do I have to explain to this audience what those two murderers did to their countries? Maybe not, because everybody knows. Unfortunately, and because of that poisonous ideology that the current president has embraced, Madam Castro has pushed her country into an economic abyss. And why do I say that? You can keep the door closed, please. Thank you. Thank you. And why do I say that? First, President Castro welcomed communist China and even suggested that she may give Palmerola Air Base to the Chinese. The Palmerola base is the key United States military installation in Latin America. Second, she broke relations with democratic Taiwan just to please China. Third, she gave another thug called Nicolás Maduro in Venezuela the highest Medal of Honor that the country can give to a civilian, the Order of Francisco Morazán. I am sure that Morazán has to be rolling in his grave. And fourth, flooded the country with Cuban spies dressed as doctors, teachers, and psychologists. 10 days from today, the fate of Honduras is in the hands of three candidates. Papito a la Orden, whose real name is Nasri Asfura, Salvador Nasrallah, and Rixi Moncada. Mrs. Moncada is the heir to the communist throne picked by the current president. Mrs. Moncada says that Cuba is a democracy and that she wants Honduras to look just like Cuba. Well, this is the way Cuba looks today. I'm sure that Hondurans would not want that in their streets. At this hour, the voters of Honduras are at a crossroads, and they should think long and hard who are they going to vote for. As the chairwoman of the Western Hemisphere Subcommittee within the House Foreign Affairs Committee of the United States Congress, I am not telling you who to vote for. All I am saying is do not elect a communist. Communism is beautiful in theory and miserable in practice. Look at Venezuela. After 25 years, or 25 years ago, the Venezuelans were oblivious to the same warning I am saying today, and not even having the largest reserves of oil in the world save them from the economic catastrophe they're living today. Socialism's #1 goal is to corrode the democratic institutions, especially the armed forces. The Honduran armed forces, the most powerful institution in the country, are demanding direct access to private voter information. The armed forces are demanding to know who voted for who. This is not the military, which has made Hondurans proud for over 100 years. At the same time, or the same military, I should say, that pulled Mel Zelaya, the husband of the current president, out of his bed in his PJs, sent him to Costa Rica in the middle of the night for wanting to do the same thing that his wife is trying to do right now, impose communism in Honduras. 16 years ago, the military saved their country from communism, and today they need to do the same thing. So this committee is sending a very clear message, supported by the State Department and the Trump administration, that Honduras must hold a free, fair, and transparent elections. No intimidation, no stolen ballots, no foreign interference. The eye of the United States is upon Honduras this November 30th. In the United States, there are more than 1 million Hondurans, hundreds of thousands of them in my own district, Florida District number 27, the heart of the city of Miami. Oh, I know Hondurans very well. They're good people, hardworking, God-fearing, law-abiding, who have been beaten by a political class that has not treated them well for decades. They deserve someone who is not a communist, who will put the future of Honduras first, and that includes the two right candidates as well. Whomever wins these elections needs to put the fatherland above their own personal interests. Honduras political class admires the American political and economic system. Well, it's time for them to start copying it. The nation's treasury is not their own personal checking account. The well-being of the average Honduran should be their only interest. Honduras deserves better. May the Lord guide them this November 30th.